And just look into the camera and introduce yourself, starting there.
Cool. Hey, my name's Sydney.
Adam. I'm Tristan.
Kiyomi.
And I'm Kathy. Hi, Kathy Jordan. So I'm applying for this position. Anyway, hi. So we have 20 minutes to do something with directing. We're going to start with a little chat, first of all, about directing and about what a director does. And if I said a director is a storyteller, you would say a director is a...
Like, as in something that goes along with
You
being a storyteller?
know, anything that comes to your mind,
okay.
whatever comes to your mind, because we don't have a whole lot of time to
Yeah.
read down. Like I'm going to have an hour
Yeah.
class to define it before we dig into some other stuff I
Yeah.
want you guys to do. So if I said a director is a storyteller, you'd say a director is also
An observer.
an observer. Fabulous. A director is a
Visionary.
visionary. A director is a
Creator.
creator, and who creates something out of the words or whatever we have. A director is a...
I was going to say dreamer. Is
Oh
quite
my
close.
gosh, that's beautiful. Okay, dreamer, creator, right?
Yeah.
Visionary. Okay, so in other words, they take all of those elements and pull them together. So what we're going to do first is we're going to establish a pathway of how a director is the person who is the liaison between the audience, who are going somewhere with this experience, and the text. Oftentimes I see plays that I don't think are as significantly handled because they're like, hey, we like plays, we like doing plays, and they're not thinking about how they affect society. Because if it was just for fun, you'd be in a class. But it's not just for fun, it's to make a change in the world, in the society we live in, to affect people. Obviously, we, the people that are included in, in the classroom, in the theater group, are affected by what we do, but we're also affecting an audience and changing the world that we know and making it someplace different. So, if the director's liaison, think of the plot and the characters as the feet that are taking us on the journey, but not the place that's the arrival. Okay, so the plot is not the story. And I started in this lesson right here is about the director as a storyteller and getting to the heart of what a director actually does in relationship to the piece and in relationship to the audience themselves. Okay, so if the audience is going to arrive someplace and feel something and change and have something happen to them, we're the ones that take them there. Everything that doesn't count up to where you want them to go, understanding what's in the text and honoring the author and the people that are contributing. And in honoring that, you're taking them someplace very specific. The more specific you know about that place, the more chance you have of actually getting everybody there safely, right? And the plot is the feet. Specifically, this happens, down those feet go on that journey, but you gotta know where the path is so you can help take them there, right? So is that making sense to you guys? Also, one more thought about story is that the story is a plot line. No, it's events, it's human events that develop, but it's also, there's other human stories that are resonant and authentic to everyone's experiences right now, today, what's happening to them. They're going to resonate with different parts of the story that has to do with the deep inner life of their own hearts and minds and experience. Today, now, what's happening to them. Different little things will be said, bing, and it will resonate. So you want to be able to pluck all those strings and just, take that whole harp and go, allow those heartstrings and have them all feel. So, step-by-step process. We start with the text. So you guys, I'm gonna hand you Live Mind.
Perfect.
That was Sam Shepard, right? And do Frankie and do Jake.
Perfect.
This is a tiny, tiny cut. Towards the end of the scene, something's happening. You guys are listening and just kind of like, we're all gonna respond and say, what's the deepest thing? Script analysis comes first. What's the true thing, the authentic thing that the author wanted us to grasp, the truth of life that they understood. So in trying to process that, we're just gonna do a little read. No pressure. Just whatever you respond to.
Okay.
These are brothers.
Do you want us to,
He's in a whole lot of trouble, Jake is.
Okay.
Backstory. You're in a lot of trouble and you've been here before. You've been here before with him. And he crashed his motorcycle and he thought he killed his girlfriend and he gets up off the bike and the first thing he does is he goes and calls his brother. And this is a phone conversation. But you guys, right now, for now,
Yeah.
face each other and
Okay.
read. So anyway, enjoy
Alright.
and listen.
Did you call the police? Now? Why would I do that?
That's what you're supposed to do. You report it to the police.
Even when you do it?
Yeah, even when you do it, especially when you do it.
I never heard of that.
Well, someone should check up on it. I mean, this is pretty serious stuff, Jake.
I done my time for her. I already done my time.
She had nothing to do with that.
She got me in trouble more than once, always flirting around, always carrying on.
She had nothing to do with that. You lost your temper.
She provoked it.
You always lost your temper and blamed it on somebody else.
Okay, good. Hold on. Are you feeling what's going on here? Okay. You can relate to this right away because you have friends that are in trouble. I can totally see it. Okay, and you're going, I'm the one that has to pick up the pieces all the time. What is wrong with these guys? I can totally feel that. What kind of trouble are you in? No, I'm talking Tristan, and you don't have to tell me what you think, but you need to know because you did not damage your girlfriend's head. Okay, you did not hurt anybody, and you are like the soul of the world. You are really a generous, kind, always careful person. So what kind of trouble can you possibly relate to that you're going, I can call the police on this. You know, it's like, don't call mom.
Yeah.
Right? Do not tell mom what just happened. You know, something that you can actually relate to. I don't know who you don't want to have told when you get in trouble.
Okay.
You could tell me, but you could also not.
I don't know. Probably like a higher, like parental unit, authority figure. Like if something was really bad, like I
Right.
Like,
Like you wouldn't want your teachers to think the less of you.
yeah.
Right. Okay, great. So gotta
all
find
right.
our hearts about
Okay.
that. Okay, so then you're continuing with this,
Okay.
but you have reached out to your brother. You guys are thinking, what do they want? Right. Wait. Start with objectives. What do they want? What's the deepest thing? Okay.
Should we just keep going?
Do you want to keep going? You want to start over?
It's up to you. What would you like to see?
Start over.
Okay. Did you call the police?
Why would I do that?
That's what you're supposed to do. You report it to the police.
Even when I do it?
Yeah, even when you do it, especially when you do it.
I never heard of it.
Well, somebody should check up on it. I mean, this is pretty serious stuff, Jake.
Well, I did my time for her. Okay, I've already done my time.
She had nothing to do with that.
She provoked me.
You always lost your temper and blamed it on somebody else. One time I remember you blamed it on a goat.
What a goat? What goat?
That milk goat we had.
What was her name?
I forget.
Yeah, I remember that goat. I loved that goat.
Well, you kicked the shit out of that goat you loved so much when she stepped on your bare feet while you were trying to milk her. You remember that.
I
Broke
never
your
kicked
ribs.
that goat.
You broke your damn foot, you kicked her so hard. Whoa, what just happened?
I'm gonna die without her.
Okay, that's better. That's deeper. Do you hear what's going on? Okay. What do you want? You don't have to answer first because it's hard. Yours is harder than his. Okay, can you guys tell? What do you think? What do you think Frankie's easier, right? The little brother he's always picking up the pieces. What does he want? And it's always in the room. It's between the characters that are in the room. What does Frankie want from Jake? He showed up. What does he want? What do you think? Put it in active verb. To
Take responsibility.
yeah, make him take responsibility. Yes. Okay. That is actually the text. That's what they're saying. The subtext. What does he want?
I think part of it is he doesn't want to ever have to deal with this again. He wants it to like not be his problem.
So he wants peace.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants peace.
Mhm.
How will he get peace? That's a great thing to want. Way deep.
Mhm.
That's a great, very, very not so common, but actually really important thing for people that are peacemakers.
Mhm.
It's a whole kind of people. So what? How will he get that?
By teaching his brother how to deal with things on his own.
Okay. All right. So you're going to blame him in order to get him to take responsibility. Feel the layers
Mhm.
down into the deeper part of the subtext. Blame. Oh, you kicked that goat. Right? Blame him. Does he provoke? Does he shock? You kicked that goat. You don't remember that? Oh, you don't remember that, do you?
Yeah.
See how he's doing that?
Mhm.
Okay. To even insult. Those are all tactics in order for him to get underneath there and to get peace. What will peace buy him? I think there's something even deeper than peace. What will he have with his brother because it's not about world peace and something
Right.
outside the room, it's in
Right.
the room with his brother right now, what will that buy him?
I mean, a deeper connection with his brother.
Yeah,
So it can move on from just being this. I mean, because it's sort of. It seems like it has been sort of a parent-child relationship,
yeah.
but to be more.
You're
of
the
a,
little brother.
Oh.
You're the
Oh.
little brother.
Oh wow. Okay, that changes.
And they were
things.
abandoned by their father. Not that you would have to know that, but they were. So in other words, if you're okay, I'm okay. And if I told you, as a director, having worked a little bit with it now, that this was an identity piece, how do I know who I am?
Mhm.
You know, ultimately you want peace. I totally am gonna buy that. If you're playing this role, I'm gonna buy that
Right.
for you on stage. I'm gonna make sure that we see his values. But also, if it's his identity, if he's okay, if you can get him to take responsibility and stand up and be the kind of person that he needs to be for you,
Mhm.
what does that buy you?
Well, I mean, now that I didn't know that he was the little brother, so I
He
mean,
is
he
the
can
little
just be a little brother and like.
Oh, I want my childhood back.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, I feel like because I don't feel like the little brother here, but I think that's something that I would want.
Yeah, you don't want to be the dad,
No.
and you got to be one.
Mhm.
So, and he's also uses sarcasm, right, and irony, and the scapegoat, goat. Wow, really nice symbolism, right? Okay, good, all that stuff. So you feeling how that is? Feeling language, so what does he want?
I think, especially hearing like identity piece, I think he just wants to find who he is without all of the trouble. I think he's like, at least what I gathering from just a small text of like always being in like that trouble situation, causing things to happen that go wrong.
He doesn't want to
He doesn't
provoke it
want to.
anymore,
Yeah, exactly.
right? And he says she provoked it.
Mhm.
But what is he really saying?
That he provoked.
I'm
it, and
constantly
he
provoking her, and then
can't-
she provoked it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
right.
He can't acknowledge that he is. So
Language
wants
he
to find-
uses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he wants
I
to.
like
He like he said he wants to find that piece, but it's more of like he
Mhm.
just wants to find out who he is without all of this.
Yeah.
And that's what he wants, and so he wants other people to take care of it, so that he.
To shift the blame and then get him to do something about it, which is exactly what he's gonna come back and do. He's gonna
Yeah.
do something about it and go, no, you get it back again. You knew that.
Yeah.
You knew he was gonna give it back. Okay, so if that's what's happening there, let me throw you another bone.
Yeah.
He is self-punishing
Yeah.
because nobody can punish him for what he does.
Yeah.
Is he helping Frankie to punish him too?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
I'm calling you.
Yeah.
I'm on the phone. Come on,
Yeah.
bring it on, bring it on.
Yeah.
Okay, but he can't do enough for you
Yeah.
for how much you feel that you've
Yeah.
done wrong.
Yeah.
So if you self-punish, will it be enough? Okay, and if I told you that, then if I got you up on your feet to block it,
Yeah.
and you're trying to inspire him to be a better human being so that you can stop being in this position of authority, right?
Yeah.
Or so that you don't end up being your dad who left the family because he couldn't handle it.
Right.
Right? You could just check out and never come back again because this is just too much. And you don't want to do that.
Right.
Think about what you do in terms of movement in the room. Think about what you do if you're self-punishing. You know, is that what do you see banging his head on the wall? Does he have a bottle and he's drinking and he's drinking and he's drinking? He's going, see there? You gonna stop me and take this away? What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You would find different ways, creative ways to self-punish.
Yeah.
Okay, now, the impressions that you guys have from this, since we have absolutely no time to do this and we're probably pretty far, what time is it? I don't wanna go over our time. Okay, probably pretty far. Let me just, tell me words about the language, impressions. Is it sharp? Is it tender? Is it soft? Is it round? Is it what? If I said sharp, because I did, there's a sharpness to the way they provoke each other. If I said sharp, you would say,
What I get is that it's comfortable. It's kind of language that they've always used to talk with each other.
Oh, okay.
And so,
okay.
but
But comfortable might not be the right
not
word for it,
comfortable.
but
That's
what you
not
really
the-
mean
right,
is
Informal.
Familiar?
familiar. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you, right?
Mhm.
Family, familiar,
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
That we can say those things, you've got a whole lot of history about what they're saying to each other. Okay, that's great. And if I say sharp and he says familiar, actually you said familiar, what would you say?
I was thinking almost explosive, like everything's like been so internalized that it's all just coming out like all at once is kind of the feeling I got.
Suppress and explode,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Explode. Can you work that into the movement of the piece? That right there, feel that? That's the kind of thing that helps an audience have an experience with it. You know, when we lay our concept on, we go, you know, there's shows like the character's like a butterfly, and they were cocooning for a while, and now they're free into action and doing something, because basically a butterfly is a flying mating machine, right? They don't eat, they don't do anything else, they just go and find their mate, and they're active. And that's a really cool metaphor, but pasting a butterfly on the wall is not the same thing as that kind of action that makes somebody feel intrinsically that your human experience is doing that. So that's great, you know. So again, springing into action with those different things. I was doing one more activity with you guys. So just if you guys just want to pull up to the table, we said words that were impressions to us, and I'm gonna I want you guys to pick. There's a whole bunch of line. Ta-da! Okay, so you guys can see this. A whole bunch of line in different wonderful design sources, and I brought a whole bunch of color charts. What are these colors for you? Just take a second, and you guys you do this. Find the colors that you would use on this set, okay? There's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm sorry it's not, helpful, but we have line, okay, I don't know if you can see this. Okay, well, we have line, there's a Frank Lloyd Wright house, right?
Yeah.
So those lines mean something with what kind of colors does this piece mean. These lines, I've got a whole bunch of Santa Fe lines, there's really heavy wood lines, Native American lines, which are, South Shepherd, so into the Southwest, that's cool. Here's some more pottery designs, and then the last thing, I'm just gonna ask you to grab 3 things. There's textures on these different picture frames.
Okay.
If this was a memory piece and your producer came and said, I'd like you to put a bunch of frames on stage. We're not going to know they're really frames. Would you arrange them in some way? What kind of textures might you use that the furniture became little frames, like snapshots?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you just kind of be rude with each other and reach over, and I'll turn these things all over, and you can tell me what you think. Yeah, like the nubbly stuff. It's a little nubbly. That's a Frank Lloyd Wright there too. That design. This texture is way different than that one. So you can just grab stuff. I'll check our time. I'm trying to remember when we started. This will say over here.
It was right about 6:30.
Okay, yeah, we got 5 minutes. Very cool. Just like, it's like an audience is benefited by feeling things. Even if they don't walk over and feel it, they can see this texture. See this texture as opposed to this one right here. It's flat and stained and has, different, this has the little balls on it and stuff. This has got, and that's upside down, sorry. That's got those Southwest designs and feels for the shepherd. There's a bunch of different colors. You can do a share. If I had more time with you guys, you guys keep doing what you're doing, but if I had more time with you guys, we would get a big sketch pad out. We'd have these big sketch pads you bring to class, and then start just going. If the producer said to me, "We'd like these to be little picture frames, and put them put them into the set or whatever," if you were given a directive as a director to fulfill what a designer was already bringing, then you would say, "Are they abstract? Frames like that, they walk in and out of them, or are they more earthy? Just almost little windows in that sort of Adobe style of Hogan. What would you do with little window spaces? What would you do?" But we don't have time for that. So go ahead with the activity you're doing.
I think I found mine.
Okay, great. You want to share?
Yeah,
We have 5 seconds to do it.
Yeah.
Show them.
So,
Hello, guys.
Okay, hi. So as far as the kind of patterns and textures I would go in is, I know you probably can't see it, but it's a pottery, and it's making the pottery, specifically with the patching that you have to use to make it. So it's going into a final product, but you obviously see that it's trying to patch it together into a final project. The texture would be this frame here. It feels a lot like something that you would use for a patchwork, and I would want to use this
That's really cool.
color of the frame along, so like that bright gold as like an accent, and then these
Oh, yeah, just show
deeper.
that. That's cool.
So that bright gold and these deeper blues and purples for like the colors to kind of fill in that imagery of like putting the pot together.
So great.
So,
That's really, really great.
forming that individual, if that makes sense.
Yeah, right, they're gonna experience that, it's
Mhm.
really great. Okay.
So I when I'm reading that scene, then I mean it gave me a very like outdoor feel. Like they're outside. There's this whole world around them, and they're just this tiny piece of it. And so just very. I mean like I found like the green just very like natural, and they're just in this outdoors, just a piece of nature. And then I saw the red, and I felt that too, just because there's all of this pent up like anger and
passion.
punishment and
Yeah.
passion in that scene. And so that could be, I mean, even just like in the lighting or something somewhere in the scene that's there somewhere, like waiting to like come out. Is what it like feels like. But
And the frame.
the frame, yeah, this one, I mean,
Black.
it's black. It feels very dark and heavy, and like just like the night, or like it feels like nighttime. That's how I'm imagining it. That it's just like closing in around them. They're in this huge world alone, but they have each other. So that's what I
Excellent.
got.
Beautiful.
Mine were just colors because I don't know if that's what I relate to more. But like with Tristan's character, I felt more it was like kind of like out in the dark and just like more lost and kind of thing. So I kind of like thought of like the dark
I
purple
love it.
kind of
Get
feeling.
show those guys that.
The dark
That's really
purple.
cool.
Yeah. Well, it's like with this one, I felt like it was like more put together, almost like peaceful. Like everything is supposed to be like everything's exactly where its places are. But like I also wanted to use more like a lighter red, more to show like there's still a lot of other things like internalized, but
Yeah.
everything else is like looks like it's in place, even though it's not actually.
Fabulous. Great.
Okay, so I picked this dark blue color because it reminded me of the ocean, and the piece when I was listening to it, it felt very heavy to me, but it felt like heavier the more they read into it. So it's like, when you like go swimming in the ocean and you're there and it's fun and it's good, and then you're 3 hours in and it feels so heavy and it feels like you can't move and you can't go anywhere, but you know where you are, but that's just what you decided to get into. So that was kind of how that felt.
Descending colors to the deeper blues. Yes.
Yeah. So and then I grabbed this frame because like Alan was saying, it felt very like outdoorsy and very woodsy.
Yeah.
So I really like this frame. And then I liked this because I feel like I have no idea what this means, but somebody drew it and somebody knows what it means. And I kind of feel like that was the dynamic there, where they both drew this relationship and they created it and they know what it means, but if you look at it, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know how they got
So
there.
there's mystery. That's fabulous. And so those little eyes looking at you, and that Indian art, and also the colors, the red and the blacks.
Yeah.
Very, very great for for Lie of the Mind, and it's interesting because they have little spiky things coming up out of their heads. Do you see
Mhm.
that?
Yeah.
Are they hands? Are they, like what can your hand do? Or it's got some really cool imagery. So in other words, you guys as directors are putting all of the artistic elements together so that you can make an audience really go somewhere when they're done. They've like been through this profound human experience. Your understanding of the depth of the text is super, super important to manifest all of these impulses into something that's visual, that's sensual, that our senses perceive, and very much visceral experience. Thanks, you guys. I think that's all I have time
Thank
for.
you.
Wonderful. Thanks. Very cool.
How far did we go over?